continue, ma'am.
Can I start?
Yes, ma'am. Start.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Marietta Cawilan of the Philippines, and I am a Principal 3 of the Gataran West Central School, SDO Cagayan, Philippines. And I am here to present to you my research titled Organizational Support and Commitment, Their Relations to Teachers' Teaching Performance. Okay, so for the introduction, the educational system around the world is rapidly changed and reformed. That's according to Whitney 2010, impacting the teachers' professional development since teachers are the most important agents to reform and under pressure to perform. It is highly critical to keep teachers motivated, confident, and effective. So I am just, sir, mom, I am just reading the introduction and rationale, and after which I will be going to the discussion of results and reflection. Okay, so may I continue? Teachers are also viewed as catalysts to improve student learning. However, teaching is considered as one of the utmost challenging jobs. Teachers persistently face growing challenges such as hectic working environments, dealing with students' problems, heavy workload, and etc. So the literature provides empirical evidence that there is a great need for an organization like the school organization to extend to teachers supportive mechanisms so that they feel a part of the organization. So in other words, teachers are needed support in order that they, in return, they will also commit themselves as an effective teachers. Okay, so for the literature review, how the employees are valued by the organization created a positive behavior to them. One theory that explains this kind of relationship is the organizational support. And employees evidently believe that organization has a general positive or negative orientation toward them that encompasses both recognition of their contribution and concern for their welfare, just as employees from global perception concerning their valuation by the organization. So that's the uh, literature review. Okay, now, uh, as I go to the dimensions of organizational commitment by the teachers. So how the affective, the dimensions are the affective, the continuance, and the normative. Okay, so next slide, sir. Okay, so as per the results, it indicates that teachers agree that the following rewards and recognitions, okay, decision-making, growth opportunities, autonomy, job security, career adjustment is supported by the organization. See, which means if a teacher work hard, they receive rewards and recognitions. They, in the decision making, they also tend to join in the decision making of the group, okay? Not just the leader who decides for the organization. Growth opportunities means that they are being sent to many trainings and motivate them to continue their studies. Autonomy, job security, career adjustment, and etc. They sense that what they contribute to school development is somewhat reciprocated by the school. So in return, they also support the school. Okay, so the neutral response is attributed to the fact that school policies emanating from the national, regional, and division levels are similarly implemented in the schools. In addition, whatever contribution teachers have for the schools are rewarded in many ways through high performance rating. Okay, so in the Philippines, we have the individual performance rating, or the IPCRF. If they work well, if they are effective in the school, so at least they have a grade of outstanding. Points earned for the promotion, this is for the promotion also, so you have to have outstanding in your performance to because that is a rubric for you to be promoted. Okay, so next slide, sir. It means that organizations consider teachers' role in making schools decisions, recognizing teachers' role in finding ways to resolve issues and problems affecting the school makes them feel they are a part of their organization. So meaning that if you include them in the decision making, they really feel that they are part of the organization, not just the school head to do the decision making for the welfare of the school. Next slide, sir. School heads provide, sir, I'm still in school heads provide. School heads provide teachers chances to grow. Okay, yes. School heads provide teachers chances to grow in the profession. They give teachers opportunities, yes, as I've said a while back, to attend in service training in order to perform well in the job. During the interview, some teachers indicated that school had encouraged their teachers to excel as coach of their pupils in the events such as the academics and the non-academics. Okay, so they exert much effort to coach their contestants in winning. Still, some school heads motivate their teachers to undertake action researches like this. So in me as a school head, I always encourage the teachers to do the research or the work plan. Some school heads are encourage them to enroll in the graduate schools for their own improvement and development as teachers. Next slide, sir, please. Their school provide them enough freedom to undertake their teaching roles and responsibilities, not the school head who will decide in their teaching roles and responsibilities. As teachers who know their teaching responsibilities, they are encouraged to be creative in solving classroom problems as there are diverse learners in the classroom. School heads motivate their teachers to find ways by which they could reach their key result area or the KRA along teaching and learning and the pupil learning outcomes. So these findings, next slide, sir. These findings indicate that the teachers are aware that they are secure in their job as they feel their school treasures them as human resource in carrying out its goals and objectives. Because of such attitude, the teachers see themselves staying in the same school. So they tend not to go out from the school because they are secure. They feel secure. The perception is brought about by the implementation of the localization policy where teachers are. Okay, so for the conclusion, the perceived organizational support received by the teachers along the following dimensions: the organizational justice, the rewards and recognitions, participation in decision making, growth opportunities, autonomy, job security, and career adjustment is agreeing. The teachers agree that it does not matter if they will be working for the same school or another as long as they have work. It means that what is important to them is a permanent work. That is the conclusion. Another one is the respondents agree that they are committed to their organizational goals in the three dimensions, namely the affective, the continuance, and the normative. Teachers have performance rating of very satisfactory. None of the dimensions of organizational commitment is related to teaching performance, as all coefficients have associated probabilities greater than 0.05. There is no relationship between the performance rating of the teachers and their perceived organizational support and organizational commitment. And further recommendations, in the light of the findings and conclusions, the study proposes the following actions. The school organization through the principal should sustain the positive perception of teachers on the organizational support they receive. The following measures are essential to achieve this goal. Letter A, implement all government mandated privileges among teachers like the maternity, paternity leaves, breastfeeding breaks, and many others. Letter B, involve teachers in the decision-making process to develop a sense of ownership of the decision reached. Letter C, be transparent in all transactions, including promotion of teachers, fund disbursement, and etc., and the like. Okay. So that's the conclusion. I'll not read anymore, sir, because I think I had already finished 7 minutes.
Well, ma'am, well, thank you. May I know, ma'am, what is the main purpose of this research? What do you want to prove?
Okay. The main purpose of this research, so that as a school head, sir, I am very emphatic in this, because some school heads, uh, as per observation from, I went to the different schools, that they have this problem of like, they really don't have support. I had teachers don't really have support to the teachers when it comes to the trainings and the like, because as I observe and talk to many teachers, if a head teacher or school head do not like they will not send you to a training or the like. So that's
Uh,
why I,
Means every teacher needs some kind of career development. Means their career development, right?
yes,
Means like as you are a head of the school or you are the principal of the school, you need your own career development, right? Means for enhancing your level of knowledge from day to day, upgrading yourself, right?
yes, sir.
Did all the schools makes this kind of facilities for the teachers to develop themselves?
No, not really, sir. There are also school heads who are very supportive to their teachers. So as to the promotion, as to the personal growth development, sir.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your presentation. Kindly unmute your audio and video, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Kalpana Singh, kindly unmute your audio and video, please. Kalpana Singh, ma'am, can you unmute your audio and video, please?
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you unmute your video also? Means we are recording your
Okay.
presentation.
Okay.
Uh, well, ma'am, now continue, ma'am.
Can you show my PPT?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Already displayed. Are you visible, ma'am?
But it's not showing to me actually.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Understanding eco-feminist perspective in revival of indigenous economies. This is my title topic. I am myself Kalpana Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Ranchi University, Ranchi, Jharkhand. So in introduction, I will first introduce some points as what do you mean by ecofeminist philosophy? It is actually juxtaposing two perspectives at the same time and address together the two issues and showing what are the similarities in between two perspectives. Ecofeminism, also called ecological feminism, a branch of feminism that examines the connection between women and nature. Its name was coined by French feminist Francoise d'Eben in 1974. Specifically, this philosophy emphasizes the ways both nature and women are treated by patriarchal or male-centered society. Basically, they believe that there is a patriarchal structure which define or denied the existence of other important entities. So, ecofeminist analysis explores the connection between women and nature in culture, religion, literature, and in everything, and address the parallels between the operation of nature and the operation of women. They find they try to find those similarities in the oppressive nature inbuilt in the patriarchal construct against nature and women. These parallels include are not limited to seeing women and nature as property, seeing men as the curators of culture and women as the curator of nature. So they themselves believe that the women are the curators of nature, and how men dominate women and humans dominate nature. So they believe that humans, which is defined basically by male dominated society, dominate the nature as well as women. So nature and women are the similar things for the male society. Ecofeminism emphasizes that both women and nature must be respected. What is the argument of ecofeminist? They believe that both should be respected because they are the curator for each other and conserving each other in different manners. In next slide, I will try to review of literature. That is, there are tons of literature regarding ecofeminism, and I have reviewed a lot, but mention some of them. So if I name them, what I mentioned, but basically I supported, or I argued on the basis of my argument in this ecofeminist philosophy is basically Vandana Shiva, which is her books and her literature basically focuses on the women's society, who are basically the curator of the nature, curator of the forest, basics conserving the basics of the society, basics of the nature. The next slide, I will turn towards the research objective. Research objective, as my paper is basically focused on the empirical evidences of ecofeminist philosophy and how it is responsible in the revival of this indigenous economy, and what is the role of women in the revival of indigenous economies. So to identify those evidences showed ecofeminist perspective in history. Basically, we are looking forward towards the history to revive those evidences and proposed in the present scenario to identify connection between women and ecological hunting. So ecofeminist philosophy said that there is a connection. So I'm trying in this paper to reveal those connections, whether they are true or this is only a fallacy. And the next one is to juxtapose gender relation with environment linkage analysis based pandemic break. So what is the linkage and how this interlinkages is important, important in this pandemic break situations? How we can just juxtapose those issues and those connectivities. Next, to assess gender relation with pandemic economic impact. So what is the economic impact in this pandemic situation and how it affected those women relationship or the gender relationship with their surroundings, their ecology, and whatever those different entities with them. And the next one is to understand pandenomics, behavioral rights. What are the behavioral gendered rights in this pandenomics, where there is a health issues as well as there is a financial issue. So how they are managing or how they are balancing in between pandemic situation and economic downturn situation. The research methodology, basically it is based on the secondary literature, secondary papers and resources and tons of literature, because this is based on the empirical Okay, okay. So this paper is basically based on the pure practices of theories and empirical evidences to get better understanding of human, women, animal, and ecological interconnection. Basically, the understanding of gendered impact is basically to understand the human relation with their ecological issues and ecological entities. And wide literature has been taken to understand this review. Please, next slide. So what are the basically I will focus on the analysis and findings. So there are certain arguments I would be focused. Argues that the medicalization of childbirth has marginalized midwife knowledge and changed the natural process of childbirth into a procedure dependent on specialized technologies and appropriate expertise. If you go through the empirical evidences, there are a lot of things which are the base for the arise of feminist views. There are patriarchal societies which focus that the important things are depend on the male dominant society. It cannot be the work of it. It would not be the. They are considering denied the contribution of women in different forms. Previous slide, please. Okay. And the next argument is a common claim within ecofeminist literature is that patriarchal structures justify their dominance through binary opposition. These include but are not limited to heaven, earth, mind, body, male, female, human, animal, spirit, matter, culture, nature, and white, non-white. Because there is a apartheid system is there, and there is a discrimination in at each level, at within each and every entities. So whether there is a male and female, so what is the definition of male and female? Why it is defined in between male and female? It is not biological. It is basically a structural form of discrimination. In terms of structural form of discrimination, they define that one is superior and the another one is inferior. Mind and body, mind is superior and body is inferior. Heaven and earth, heaven is superior and earth is inferior. So earth is destined to oppressed, earth is destined to exploited, female is destined to oppressed, or female is destined to exploited. So they prove that this format is true, and this format is legal, ethical. So oppression, according to them, is reinforced by assuming truth in these binaries, which factuality they challenge and instilling them as marvelous to behold, though what they consider to be religious and scientific constructs. So they don't have any certain conditions to believe in these religious and scientific constructs and to counter these scientific constructs. So beginning in the late 20th century, if we find what we find, women work in effort to protect wildlife, food, air, and water. Fundamental examples of women efforts in the 20th century are the basically it has been started with the book Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, and many literature further in for the future after in the late 20th century. So ecofeminism opposes the dominant paradigm in green theorizing and rejects its reformist environmentalism, in which opponents say environmental problems are solved by the externalization of their cost onto developing countries, thereby presenting the Western model of development and knowledge as the only acceptable model for mankind in modernity, which is totally disgusting thing. Ecofeminism, part and parcel or radical ecology, addresses possibilities for changing the hegemonic patriarchal paradigm whereby nature and women are conflated and delegitimated as inferior, passive, and non-productive categories by means of domination and exploitation. So they define that the means of domination and exploitation is the basis of modernization or modernity in the development of mankind. So
Can
this
you
is the
conclude?
hegemony. Okay, okay. So, a more sustainable and productive approach to agriculture advocates against the prevalent patriarchal logic of exclusion. So, these kind of agriculture issues and patriarchal logic of exclusion is the basic thing which we have to deny in future for the revival of indigenous economies under the backdrop of or under the supervision of female or gendered in the society. Next slide. Next. Okay, this is the conclusion that believes that ecological destruction and industrial catastrophe threaten daily life, and the maintenance of these problems have become the responsibility of women. This combined alike and contrasting Western and Southern feminism with environmental, technological, and feminist issues, all incorporated under the term ecofeminism. So, whether the poles are different, whether it is a south pole or north pole, but the things are and the entities are and the issues are similar, so they should be challenged or they should be addressed together. Next slide. It is very important that what are the managerial and practical implications as we are facing the revival of, or we are issuing addressing the revival of indigenous economies. So it is very important in terms of managerial and practical implication. We have to find those evidences from history or from ancient times, that where the women are conserving or curator of nature, and these are the practical implications for further in the downturn of economic downturn or economic recession, or in the process of revival of indigenous economy. That's all. And these are certain references. Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you
ma'am,
so much for giving me such an specious opportunity. And thank you so much to management wonder teams. Thank you so much to Karthik and Manjula itself.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
so
you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
thank
so much. Did anyone have any kind of queries or doubts relating for uh, this topic? Kindly ask to her. Well, ma'am, before I conclude this session, I want to give some kind of inputs to you and Mariti. Mariti, can you unmute your audio?
Okay, okay, sure, sure.
Kalpana, ma'am, you also unmute your audio. Thank you for your both presentations. Your both presentations are very good. And coming for the feedback, at the end of this 3 days of event, we will conduct one mega session. In that mega session, we will announce the feedback of your each and every paper. With that, we will also announce whatever the benefits or whatever the offer we are giving from our side to you, means like we are creating a platform for encouraging the academicians and researchers for enhancing their knowledge. So as per that concept, we are creating a platform. So we will discuss about those kind of things in that mega event. Kindly attend for that event. Thank you. Thank you for presenting your paper in IRBS 2K20. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.